Okay, on this Endian firewall, I've got 192.168.0.1 on the LAN, right? This is the green interface. But my red interface, my WAN interface right now, is, according to this, trying to connect and pick up an IP address, so it's not doing it. So we need to get that worked out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my firewall right here, and I'm just going to shut it down. I'm going to power off this machine. So I'm shutting down the firewall, and what I want to do is I want to select it here in the Virtualbox manager, and I'm going to go to settings, and I'm going to change the NIC. I'm going to change adapter number 2, which is my WAN adapter. I'm going to change it to a bridged adapter. Okay, a bridged adapter, and we'll give that a try. I'll click OK, and then select it and hit start, and we'll start it back up again, and we'll see if that changes, and see if we can configure an IP address for it. Now, the bridged adapter should get a direct configuration to my actual NIC on this Windows Vista machine that I'm running from. My actual IP address, let's see here. My actual IP address is 192.168.2.102. Okay, 2.102. So we'll see here if this is going to fire up. Okay, there it is. So the firewall's up, so I'll put that off screen a little bit, and I'll go to now back to my Ubuntu virtual machine, and I will refresh Firefox, and I'll say I understand the risks, add an exception, confirm the security exception, and I'm back into the Endian firewall. And you can see right here that now my interface for my WAN port has picked up an address. It picked up, I guess, the next address, so it sees me so as 2.103, so I have automatically picked up an IP address from my wireless router here at home. So now I've got a live WAN address on my virtual router, and I've got a live LAN address on the other side. So now what I'll do is I can take this client, this Ubuntu client, right? Because this is actually, my client computer, right? And if I turn off my Ethernet 0, my wireless NIC here, right? I have Ethernet 0 here. If I disable my wireless network and just run Ethernet 1, then I will be behind the Endian firewall. So let's see here. I'm going to disconnect from Ethernet 0. Okay, so that's been disconnected. And I'm going to take Ethernet 1 here, and I'm going to change the IP version 4 settings from a manual configuration to DHCP. Alright. And see if I can pick up an IP address from the Endian firewall. Okay. Alright, so I should have Ethernet 1 active and Ethernet 0 not active. So I'll open up a terminal here, and we'll test it out. If config, and you can see that I'm not picking up an IP address on Ethernet 0, which was my wireless, and Ethernet 1, I still have the old IP address. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a sudo if config eth1, take it down, put in my password. That takes down my Ethernet 1 interface. Now I'll put it back up. Now it's going to come back up, and now I can do an if config and see if it picks up an IP address from my EFW firewall. So far, looks like it isn't. It'd be nice if that could work.